Hello friends, welcome to my channel Quiz and Storyline. Friends, I kindly request you to subscribe to my second channel, Anokai Movie Stories, where I explain this video in Urdu. Today we will talk about the story's beginning, where a businessman is depicted as preparing to close a significant business deal. Suddenly, he and many people outside die simultaneously. The scene then shifts to Dr. Joshua, a geology professor at the University of Chicago, who is teaching geology to his students. During this time, he and his friend Dr. Serge Levy, an expert in high-energy weapons, are summoned to Washington, D.C. There, in a cold storage facility, many corpses are displayed, and these are the same individuals shown dying at the beginning of the movie. General Thomas Purcell informs them about this incident, and both experts are called in to determine how so many people could die at once. After examining all the bodies, Dr. Joshua tells General Thomas Purcell that these individuals may have been victims of an electromagnetic pulse or some electromagnetic disruption, as each of them had a battery pack installed in their hearts. General Purcell questions if this is an attack by an enemy, to which Joshua responds that a very powerful electromagnetic pulse weapon would be necessary to kill so many people at once, and such a weapon does not yet exist in this world. After hearing this, General Purcell asks them to leave, but Joshua finds the matter strange. Consequently, he decides to uncover the truth behind the incident. Some time later, bizarre occurrences begin to unfold globally, such as birds attacking humans and people falling unconscious. Meanwhile, a space shuttle is seen in orbit, preparing to land, but due to a malfunction in the navigation system, it is set to land far from its intended coordinates, right in the middle of Los Angeles. Major Revika aboard the shuttle decides to land it on a river. Her senior, Robert, states that nothing can be done now, but Revika successfully lands the shuttle on the river. On the other hand, Joshua has also become aware of all these events. He tells his companions to create a 3D model and monitor the strange changes happening around the world. When Joshua analyzes the model he has created, he can't believe his eyes. He realizes that the failure of bird migration and the malfunction of the navigation system are interconnected. Therefore, he immediately meets with Dr. Conrad Zams and informs him about his research. Dr. Zams is astonished by the findings and promptly calls a meeting with all American scientists and officials present. Joshua leads this meeting and declares that the end of the world is near, and everyone will die within a year. Hearing this, everyone in the meeting is taken aback, but Joshua explains that there are two cores within the earth, an outer core and an inner core, which is a solid layer of iron, with a liquid layer constantly in motion outside of it. This motion generates the Earth's electromagnetic field, but now this motion is slowing down, which is causing these bizarre events to occur. Furthermore, Joshua states that a massive explosion is needed to restart the Earth's core, but reaching that depth seems impossible since no one in human history has gone more than 7 miles down. Everyone present is astonished by this statement, but Dr. Zams looks at Joshua and suggests that it might be possible for them to reach that depth. Later, we see Dr. Edward, who has created a machine capable of penetrating any metal or wall using ultrasonic waves. He has also developed a special metal called europytanium, which can withstand temperatures up to 5,000 degrees Celsius. This metal becomes stronger the deeper it goes. The U.S. government orders Edward to construct a ship from this metal, covering all expenses. Before long, the location becomes a project hub. Edward designs the ship in such a way that if any part of it fails, the team can repair it. This team will be led by Dr. Joshua and will include Major Rivika, Dr. Zams, Dr. Edward, Robert Version, and Dr. Search Living, who are all experts in high-energy weapons. The U.S. government also includes a top hacker in this team. A hacker named Savator Tondal is brought into the team to remove news of the spreading devastation from the internet. After several days of hard work, the prototype of the ship is completed, and they repeatedly test it to assess the chances of mission failure. Meanwhile, large-scale electrical shocks are felt nationwide, resulting in the devastation of several cities. Witnessing all this, Joshua and his team set off on the mission without wasting any time. They choose the Mariana Trench route, the deepest place in the ocean, which is nearly 11,000 meters deep enough to fit Mount Everest inside it. As soon as they launch their ship into the water, they feel a strange environment where whales and dolphins are swimming around because the ship is sending out sonar waves. Suddenly, their ship becomes stuck in a power ravine. The ship is made of William metals that are strengthened by temperature and pressure, but it begins to break in that ravine. With great effort, they use ultrasonic waves to create a hole in the Earth's crust and manage to enter the core, reaching the mantle layer with the help of the navigation system. After some time, they arrive at an empty space filled with crystals. Due to a sudden fall, a large crystal penetrates inside, forcing some team members to go outside to fix it. The temperature outside is extremely high, but they cool the engine using nitrogen gas. As they attempt to cut the crystal, lava begins to flow from above. Edward runs out of oxygen, and Joshua gives him his oxygen. Edward struggles to cut the crystal, but Joshua faints due to a lack of oxygen. During this time, a crystal falls on Edward's head, and he falls into the flowing lava and dies. Afterward, Rivika takes command of the ship and tries to get them out of there. When Joshua regains consciousness, he is informed that Evergen has died. This news deeply saddens Joshua, but understanding the mission's importance, he moves forward. After a while, they approach the outer core, but they encounter enormous diamonds. Rivika carefully navigates the ship through the diamonds while the rest of the team prepares nuclear devices. Suddenly, a large diamond collides with the ship, damaging the last compartment. Dr. Search hands the nuclear devices to Joshua but gets trapped himself and soon dies. After this, Joshua is in a state of deep shock as he has lost his close friends, yet he suppresses this grief to continue the mission. If he doesn't, thousands of people and his family, whom he loves, will also be affected. A while later, they enter the outer mantle of the Earth, where the heat is approximately 6,000 Fahrenheit. Upon reaching there, Dr. Zell states that their estimate was incorrect, as the pressure here is very low, meaning the nuclear material they have will not have severe effects on the surface that could trigger a shock to reactivate the core. Dr. Zells also mentions that their arrival here is a failure, they should now return and adopt Plan B. After hearing Dr. Zells, everyone starts thinking about what this Plan B is. Zams pulls out his red file and reveals that some time ago, the US military learned that another country possesses technology that allows them to create earthquakes anywhere. Therefore, Colonel Thomas Person devised a dangerous weapon under their supervision, which they named Testin. With this weapon, they can directly launch high electromagnetic pulses into the earth. Hearing this, Joshua and the others realize that destiny and the US government are behind this earthquake. Zams proposes another idea: they should run Testin again to generate another electromagnetic pulse, which might restart the Earth's rotation. However, Joshua firmly rejects this, stating that if they do so, the entire Earth will be destroyed at once. Meanwhile, all these discussions are being overheard by the general. In the next scene, it is shown that the Earth's ozone layer has been depleted, causing the sun's rays to fall directly onto the surface, leading to large towers beginning to melt. Witnessing this devastation, General intends to restart destiny, but Joshua speaks with a friend and urges that destiny must be stopped at all costs. The future of this world is in their hands. On the other hand, Edward and Joshua are searching for a third plan to rotate the core. During this time, Life informs them that if they distribute the nuclear boxes separately around and launch them together, a significant force will be created that can give the Earth a powerful shock. This can initiate the rotation process of the Earth, but they need to place the nuclear devices in each compartment and eject them manually. However, the system's compartment automatically ejects, so they must manually configure the system, which requires them to enter the pillar section, where the temperature is approximately 8,000 degrees Celsius. This time, they don't even have nitrogen. Edward steels himself and prepares to sacrifice his life for this world. As he steps into the pillar section, the temperature is so high that even his iron tool melts and falls, and his shoes begin to melt too. Nevertheless, Edward risks his life and manually configures the system. Meanwhile, the military is attempting to activate destiny, but Red is putting in all his effort. Ultimately, when the general is about to turn it on, Red hacks into their system, seizing all their access and shutting down Testin's power. In the next scene, it is shown that Joshua and Zam succeed in manually configuring the system due to Edward and are individually ejecting the nuclear devices from different compartments. However, this time Joshua realizes that they still do not have a complete explosion necessary to create a powerful detonation. During this time, a message arrives that shocks Joshua greatly. Zams gets trapped under the large nuclear explosives, and that compartment is about to eject. Joshua tries to save him, but Zams tells him to leave. Before leaving, Zams gives him a useful idea, saying that if Joshua wants to amplify the power of the last nuclear explosion, he must use the ship's fuel rod. However, doing so will cause the ship to lose all its power, which is exactly what Joshua had feared. Joshua thinks deeply and uses the fuel rod to enhance the impact of the final explosion, resulting in the ship losing all its energy. Joshua and Rivika wait for their inevitable death, but suddenly, an idea strikes Joshua's mind. The ship is made of unodinium, which can derive energy from power and pressure. So, Joshua begins using the ship's metals as solar plates to generate energy. Meanwhile, one by one, the semi-nuclear explosions begin to detonate, giving the ship a powerful boost. The force of this explosion causes the Earth's core to start rotating, halting all the strange activities happening worldwide. Slowly, the ozone layer begins to restore itself. Meanwhile, Joshua and Rebecca speed through the Earth's crust to escape, but their ship loses power once again. They become stranded in an unknown place beneath the ocean without any signal. However, Joshua is not someone who gives up easily. He uses his sharp intellect to create a sonar wave using the remaining energy inside the ship. This causes all the dolphins and whales to gather around the ship, which catches the attention of the U.S. Army, who then rescues them. Joshua had saved the entire world, but the story doesn't end here. In the final scene of the film, Red is shown holding a red file containing all the information about the U.S. government. Red sits in an unknown cafe and disseminates all the information about Project Destiny to every corner of the world, informing everyone about our unsung heroes. I request you all to help us reach 10,000 subscribers soon on our channel. We hope you enjoyed this video and will like it. Please subscribe to our channel. Thank you for your kind comments, and we'll see you in the next video.